Welcome to the life of J.
Leadership.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We have two things. Shay has her. Go ahead, tell them what you're doing this weekend.
Tell them your exciting news.
I go to Florida. Florida.
What are you gonna do in Florida?
Florida.
What are you doing in Florida?
I go to Disney.
Yeah, so she's super excited that she's going to Disney World.
We're super jealous.
Yeah, because
Super hating.
we're not going. So, and then number two is that we're gonna start doing videos, episodes on testimony, which they're gonna be called From Ashes.
Oh yeah, from ashes to beauty.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be featuring people. They're gonna feature with us. Gonna come in the show. They're gonna say how God changed their ashes to beauty, which is in Isaiah. We'll put the Bible verse on the screen so you can also look at it. And, you know, you can review it in the Bible. So we're super excited for this. So our first person that's gonna do it is Johanny. Jay. So she's gonna start it. Then part two is gonna be Tanya Cologne. She's gonna come here. She's gonna feature. She's gonna talk about how God changed her ashes into beauty. Yes. So we're super excited that you guys gonna be a part of this. You know, we wanna have this channel so we could show you, not show you, but we could talk about God's greatness, like what God does. You know what I mean? How His word is so true. He could change our situations for the best. You know?
Amen.
Look
No
at
matter
I
what
have
condition
an
you're
A.
under. No matter what condition you're living under, like God can turn that all around. And we're gonna use this, you know, to testify, because, you know, testimonies are really important because you want to know where people come from. You know, you want to understand. Like, people always ask me, like, how did you just come to God? But you know, it's not like, it wasn't like my decision type of thing. It was like God had that plan destined for me. And that's what we're gonna show, how we were before, you know, how we are now, and it's all for the glory of God. You know, it was nothing that we did, but Jesus died for us. You know, He derramó su sangre for us. Like,
yeah, and the Bible speaks about, you know, we need to speak about God's greatness. You know, we need to testify. We need to speak the word of God. Let Him know what God does. God is powerful. God is great, amazing, and He could turn our situation and make it into a miracle, a testimony, a living testimony. God is not dead.
Amen.
He's still alive. He's as powerful. He's the God of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
And
So
forever.
forever. He's the Alpha and the Omega, and we just wanna use this to, you know, show it, express it, talk about it, you know. And so our first episode of Ashes to Beauty is gonna be starting.
Johanny.
Wait. Can I sing you a song real quick?
Go sing a song.
God's not dead.
He is alive. God's not dead. He is alive. God's
Not dead.
He is alive. I feel it in my hand. I feel it in my feet. I feel it all over me. God's not dead. He is alive. God's not dead. He is alive. God's not dead. He is alive. I feel it in my hand. I feel it in my feet. I feel it all over me. Okay, I'm gonna start with telling you guys who I am, introducing myself. So my name is Johanny Bowman. I am 22 years old. I will be 23 this year in June. I've been serving God for 3.5 years. It will be 4 years in August 2nd. Glory to Jehovah. Honestly, I would have never thought I would be here right now serving God. So many people, they see me and they're like, you were the least person I would think would ever be serving God. But I'm like, you know, that's what God does. God chooses the people you least expected, the people who the world just doesn't think they're gonna be anything. and that's his glory, that's his love, his mercy. So I just want to start out by saying a little bit of my background, because that's what the testimony is for, obviously. So my mom had me when she was 18 years old. Her and my dad were very young. She was forced to marry him because obviously she was pregnant with me, and that's when it all started, pretty much, because that's when I was introduced to this world. But so when I was a few months old, my dad ended up basically leaving me and my mom for another woman. And my mom just basically took all her stuff and she moved over here to Worcester. We used to live I was born in Lowell, and she just took all her things and she moved over here with one of her cousins, and she just did her life over here. And yeah, so I didn't really have a relationship with my father. And that really affected me. So bad. And I didn't realize it until now, like, where God kind of opened up my eyes. Like, I knew it affected me, but I didn't know it to the extreme, where everything I was doing was because of that pain that was in my heart because of my father not being there for me. I remember growing up, my mom met my stepdad when I was 2 years old. My stepdad was in my life. He was a great man. He was there for us, but he was a drug dealer, and things don't always go so good. Like, he was a drug dealer, and he would come to our house in the late night, leaving early mornings, but I was young, I didn't really know. He used to buy us everything we wanted. We were set. My mom had a car, he had a car, we had everything we wanted to. We would go out every weekend. Life was good. I was younger, and I remember when I was 5 years old, when we moved into the valley, when we moved into Great Valley, this projects I used to live in. I was like 5. Yeah, my mom, there was this man who came to our house, and he came knocking on everyone's door in the valley, asking, to pick up the children to go to church. His name is Alvin. Glory to God for him, because he literally went around the projects asking the parents to come to church, to have their kids come to church. And my mom was like, okay, you can go to church, because our neighbors their kids used to go. So my mom started forcing me and my brothers to go to church when I was 5 years old, but she never used to go. Literally never used to go. She used to be like, "Vete que yo tengo que limpiar la casa." That was her excuse. She had to clean, so she wanted to basically kick us out and have us go to church. But that's just where it all started. I was 5 when I was introduced to God. Where I was, going to Bible studies, having my own classes with my teachers and stuff like that. And I was learning about God, and I was growing up, and first I was like forced. I'm like, I don't want to go to church, but like my mom kept forcing us. So it came to the point where I really enjoyed going to church, and I would go to church 2 times a day. Like, I would say for both services, up until like 7th grade summer. But before that, in 6th grade, my stepdad got caught selling drugs. And then my mom got arrested with him. And it was crazy because I was so young. I was only in 6th grade. And I remember my aunt picking us up at daycare. And she's like, "Oh, I gotta tell you something." And then she's like, "Oh, your mom is in jail." So this little 6th grade old me, I'm like, what? And I started crying, and it was the day before my birthday. So it was so crazy. I'm like, wow, I lost my mom, I lost my stepdad. I didn't know what was gonna be of me. But then the next day was my birthday. My mom was able to come out of jail, but my stepdad stayed in jail, and he had to do some time. And things got really hard for us, because when you come from that income of a drug dealer, you get everything you want and more. So once that was taken away, like, we struggled. My mom, me, and my 2 brothers, we struggled like crazy. And I'm the oldest, so it was a lot of pressure on me. I remember my mom would tell me, like, we don't have money for the rent. She would work 40 hours, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough money. She had to pay rent. She had to buy food. She had to, we had to get around. They took away her car. Our house kept getting raided that summer. It was so embarrassing. I remember all my friends telling me, like, "Oh, your mom is in jail, this and the third." But that's when it started. My stepdad was taken away from me, but And I was so angry. I'm like, wow, first it was my dad that was taken away from me, and now it's my stepdad who I looked up to, you know. So that was 6th grade. I was still in church, you know. I was still going to church and everything. And I remember I seen my mom just cry all the time. Like, literally, it was so bad. She was so depressed. She was always crying, you know, because that's hard. You know, she got to think about providing for 3 children while her husband is in jail, you know, have to provide for him too. So it was a lot of pressure on her. And I remember my little brothers would wake up in the middle of the night crying like, I want my dad, I want my dad, I miss Papi, I miss Papi. And I had to be the strong one, because I had to be strong for my brothers and I had to be strong for my mom. You know, my mom was crying, so if I was to join her crying, I know that would devastate her. So I used to always just suck everything in. Since I was a little girl, I would just suck it all in. And I'm like, I have to be the strong one, you know, I have to be the strong one in the family. And I remember I would keep going to church, but then 7th grade summer came, and I guess the world was just attracting me. It got to the point where I was just like, I don't even want to serve God anymore. Like, I just want to do whatever I want to do. Like, I just got rebellious, and I didn't understand at the moment why it was happening, but now I understand. You know, I was so hurt the fact that my dad was never there for me. He would come and go as he pleases. He would come and he'll be like, forgive me, and then I'll forgive him, and then he would go and disappear for years at a time, and he wouldn't call me for my birthday. He wouldn't call me for Christmas, Thanksgiving, nothing. You know, I didn't know of him, and it affected me so bad. And then as I got older, I kind of got angry at my stepfather, because I'm like, how dare you do something that would put your family in danger? You know, why would you sit there and sell drugs for so long, knowing that can, you know, that this can happen where he would be in jail? And then so 7th grade summer, I ended up leaving church. I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm not going back. I'm gonna throw my pants back on. And that's pretty much when everything started. Everything, you know, I was so rebellious. It was really, really, really bad. I remember growing up, like around that time, I was just so mad. I was just so mad at everything. My mom suffering, you know, my dad never being there for me, my stepdad being taken away from me when he could have done things right. I was just so mad. And I learned that when you're in so much pain and you're in so much hurt, you do things that you said you would never do. Like, you see yourself and you're like, wow, how did I become that person? But it's because of all that pain and all that that's in your heart, just buried there. Like, no one even knows of it. So whatever. So 8th grade, you know, I started getting popular. I was popular on social media. Everyone wanted to hang out with me. I was a very happy person. You know, I didn't show that I was sad, that I was depressed. I didn't show any of that. I was always happy, and I was always like, oh, where the turnips at? This and that. And I remember we used to go to Sky Lake. I used to go to Sky Lake every weekend. That's when it started. And then freshman year, I went to Worcester Tech, and freshman year, I went to my first party. It was either freshman year or 8th grade. And I loved to dance. Since I was a little girl, I always loved to dance. And I remember my mom, she didn't want me to do anything. She didn't allow me to go anywhere. She was like very strict. And I was like, you need to let me grow up. You know, like, you need to let go. Like, I'm not this little girl anymore. So she finally like gave in. And I went to my first party. And she's like, you know, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Like, I trust you, because her mom didn't trust her. Like, my grandma didn't trust my mother at all. So she's like, I want to be able to trust you, you know, with everything that you do. Tell me everything that happens. Tell me, you know, just talk to me. So I always had that how you say, that relationship, that trust with my mom. But, you know, my mom is everything to me. She's been there for me since day one. And so I had that trust with her, you know. But I started going to parties. She would be like, oh, you know, don't drink at parties. So then I started drinking at my house, just like on special occasions, you know, like in my high school years. I started drinking like freshman year. And then I remember when I was 15, my mom made this trip to go to DR because my stepdad got deported after like a few years, like 3 years or so. 3-4 years. So my stepdad got deported. So she's like, oh, you know, let's all go. So she had bought in me and my brothers our passports, our tickets. And then when it came down to it, my dad didn't want to sign the passport papers because I was underage. And he needed permission of both parents, so he didn't want to sign it. So we were waiting till the last day that it was the day for us to leave to DR, and we looked to check the mail and the passport wasn't there. So we're like, my mom's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'll cancel everything, I'm not gonna leave you. I'm like, no, it's fine, like, I'm gonna stay. I'll stay with my father, you know, it's okay. But me and my dad never had a good relationship. So I went over there the whole entire summer, and it was like freshman summer, and he was just really mean to me. He always said things to like hurt me, you know. Since I was little, he would always be like, you're not gonna be nobody in life, like, you know, you're gonna end up pregnant before you graduate high school, to my face. Like, a man that's supposed to be my father used to say all these mean, horrible things to my face, and I used to just cry because, like, I'm like, how can you think that of me? Like, I'm your daughter, like, you know, what did I do to deserve, you know, you being so mean to me? And so I was like, I cried so much because I didn't want to go to his house, but then I didn't want my mom to waste her money and not go to DR. You know, I know how much it meant to her to see my stepdad. So I spent that summer. Then I remember one time I used to be so against smoking weed. Like, I used to tell my friends, I'm not smoking weed. I used to have a lot of guy friends, and they were like my brothers, you know, in the valley. Like, we just used to always chill at my house and everything with my mom and everything. And they used to smoke because they were older than me and stuff, and they used to smoke weed. And I used to be like, I'm not gonna do that, I'm never gonna do that, I'm so against this, I'm so against that, you know. But then when I went to New York, one day my dad was like, oh, come over here. And I was like, what? And he started smelling me, and I'm like, why are you smelling me? And he's like, well, I just want to make sure you're not smoking. And I'm like, what? Like, you obviously don't know me because I'm so against smoking weed. Like, and I'm like, how can you be like that with me? Like, I don't understand. You know, how can you be so cruel? How can you be so mean? Like, how can you just treat me? Like, he just treated me so bad. Like, living in his house, it was so bad that summer. So I remember the day I met some friends over there, and they were like, oh, come smoke with us. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna smoke, I don't do that. And then the day before I left back to Worcester, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna smoke whatever. My dad told me that he doesn't want me smoking, so I'm gonna do it just to rebel against him. Basically, that was my mindset. And so I ended up smoking the day before I left, and I ended up smoking. And then from that day on, I started smoking weed. I was already drinking, I was partying, I was just doing me. I thought I was doing me, but I was so hurt, I was so depressed inside. My family always judged me, judged my mom's, you know, mother skills. They were always like, oh, you know, you give her too much freedom, you know, your daughter's gonna end up pregnant before she graduates high school. And I'm talking about like family members that you would be surprised, like close family members. They would always tell my mom, you're a bad mother, this and that, and your daughter's not gonna graduate, this and the third, you know, like you let her do too much, you know, she's out partying, she's drinking, she's smoking, and this and that. And you know, it used to hurt my mom because my mom was like, you know, how can they tell me I'm a bad mom? And I'm like, you know, that's the least anybody can say. Like, that's not even questionable. Like, my mom is a great mom, you know, she did everything she could. But I'm like, you know, parents can do as much as they want. Like, they can be perfect parents, but the children are gonna come out how they want to come out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ended up doing all these bad things, but it wasn't because my mom's skills were not good, but it was just because I decided to rebel. Like, I just decided not to care. I didn't care. Like, I just did not care. It came to the point in my life where I just literally did not care. I was so hurt. I was so depressed. I was so broken. I ended up getting older, and I was like 17, 18. And I remember one time when I was a little girl, I was riding the bus with my dad in New York, and he's like, oh, the day you get a tattoo is the day I disown you as a daughter. I was a little girl, but that stuck in my head. So I remember I wanted to get a tattoo so bad. My mom was like, no, you gotta wait till you're 18. So a month before I turned 18, I got my first tattoo. And I was like, you know what, like, I can do whatever I want. And then those words would haunt me, like, the day you get a tattoo, I'm gonna disown you as a daughter, because words hurt. Like, words just get stuck in you no matter how many years pass by. Like, you know, it's just there. And I remember all the things that he said about me, and I was just so mad. I'm like, I used to wish death upon him. It's like, I hate this guy. Like, I hate him with everything in me. I'm never gonna forgive him, you know. Because I'm like, you're supposed to be there for me. Like, you know, like, I need that fatherly figure. Like, I'm a girl, I need that fatherly figure. I don't care what anybody says. A mother cannot play both roles. Like, she can try, but she cannot succeed in doing the male role, because the male role is for the male role. Like, God created the family a woman, a man together to have kids. Like they need both. Like like a good family, you need both. You need both parents, you know. And that used to haunt me because my stepdad, you know, he was selling drugs. He got deported to DR. He ended up coming back to America to keep selling drugs. Ended up going back to jail, like making my mom suffer. I used to see my mom suffer all the time, locking herself in the room crying. Like it was so devastating. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with my life. Like what is going on? Like, everything is going wrong. And it was for years. And I just used to literally, used to just live my life. I just used to be like, whatever, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna smoke till I can't think no more, I'm gonna drink until I can't feel nothing. I just wanted to be numb to everything. I felt like this pressure where I had to prove my family members wrong, where I had to be, you know, strong for my mom, for my brothers, where I had to make it seem like I wasn't a failure. Like, because everyone used to tell me, you're gonna be a failure, you're gonna fail, except for my mother. My mother was always like, you're gonna make it in life, you know. And once I stopped serving God when I was in 7th grade, like my life just completely changed. Like I became an extreme pothead. Like I was addicted to weed so bad. Like I couldn't even be sober ever. I couldn't go to sleep without smoking. I couldn't eat without smoking. I couldn't wake up and just not smoke. Like I couldn't do that. And it's just because I wanted to be numb. My thoughts, and when I used to go to sleep, my thoughts used to want to just kill me. Like the overthinking was just stressful. It was overwhelming. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to live anymore. I just wanted to die. Like it was so bad. And then like nobody, I had so many friends. I had so many people around me. I had so many, you know, people I used to chill with, party with, smoke with, drink with, and nobody ever realized how depressed, how broken I was. I'm like, wow, like it was so, not that it was obvious because I never showed it, but it's just like, yo, if y'all around me, like how can you not notice when someone is so broken? Like I used to cry myself to sleep, like, and like I was never really taught how a man should love me. So I just used to let these dudes do whatever they want with me. And it got to the point where, you know, I got my heart broken like everyone in this world does. Everyone gets their heart broken, you know. But after that, like I was like, I'm never giving my heart to somebody again. I used to just play dudes like if it was nothing. I used to just be with you, be with him. I didn't care. I was una loca. I was crazy. Like I used to be at the club all the time. I was 18 years old working at a bar. I had 3 jobs. Because I wanted to be busy. I didn't want to think. I didn't want a moment to just sit there and think about everything that was going wrong in my life, about all the pain that I felt in my heart. You know, it was a lot. You know, I was so young and it was just so much that was tormenting me. The fact that I used to question, like, why doesn't my dad love me? You know, why did my stepdad, you know, do what he did? Like why did he make my mom suffer so much? I thought he loved us. Why is there so many broken promises? Why does my family, you know, not think anything of me? Why am I the ugly duckling? Why? And those thoughts used to just eat me alive. And it was super hard. It was so hard, you know, being young. And I know a lot of people can relate because I know this world is not easy. Like people used to just hype me though. Oh, you're a turn up queen. Oh, you know how to dance. Oh, you're a pothead. Let's turn up, Joe. Da 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 da. But no one was ever like, yo, Joe, how you really feel? You know, because we were all in that same mind. Like my friends were probably going through the same thing, mad depressed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize, you know, because we're so caught up in just how we feel and stuff like that. And I remember I used to always say, like, I want to go back to church. That's the last time I was like happy, you know. I used to always say that, and I used to write on my statuses, like, I just want to go back to church. I don't know what church to go to. And I didn't step into a church for like 7 years, literally like 7 years, and my life would just get worse by the day. Like it was insane. I'm like, God, I used to just be like, God, help me, like, you know, take me back with you. Like I want to go serve you out. I used to just, you know, talk to God, and it was so hard. I'm like, the way that I let myself go, like I didn't care. I used to just be like half naked, showing off my body, you know. I was so focused on how I looked. Oh, I need to take a picture for the gram. I need to look good for these likes. I need to look good for the dudes that are trying to get at me. Like I need to be, you know, like it was just stuff that is just like, I really thought I loved myself, but I really did not, because I was not. If I really loved myself, I wouldn't let people treat me the way that they did. I wouldn't let these guys treat me the way that they did. Like if I was just a piece of something, like if I was just a piece of cake, like no, you know. And but that goes back to where I didn't have my father, I didn't have my stepfather. Like You know, I had my stepfather, but right when I needed him, like, he was taken away from me, you know, for his actions, you know. And my mom always taught me, like, you know, don't let no guy take advantage of you. But it's just like, how am I supposed to be treated as a girl, like as a woman, you know? And growing up, I just didn't know what to do. I was just wanted to be numb to it all. I just used to be numb to it, literally. That's why I say, like, it's so hard being young and not having that support that you should have. Like, I had my mom, but I feel like it wasn't enough. Like, I feel like something was missing. And I know till this day, like, I put my entire life on it, that the only one that can fulfill that is God. And I'm like, the dramatic change that God has done with me is ridiculous. Like, people don't even recognize me. Like, it's so crazy that I'm like, glory to God. Like, I never would have thought I would be here testifying about how God changed my life. Like, I would have never thought, you know. But here I am. And I just want to tell you, like, God hears your soul screaming for help. Like, God does hear. Sometimes we're just so hard-headed. And I remember I used to always be like, I want to go to church, I want to go to church. But then when it came back down to the point where my now best friend Julissa, she used to invite me to church, and I used to be like, nope, I'm working. Nope, I'm working. Well, I'm working. And it's like, it's so crazy because I wanted to go to church so bad, but when somebody finally invited me, I'm like, nope, I'm working. Nope, I gotta work. You know, I'm working at the bar. I'm working here. I'm working there. And I remember I used to just get blackout drunk. When I used to drink, I used to black out. Like, so many things could have happened to me. I used to hang with a lot of guys that were like in gangs and stuff, and they used to just fight each other all the time. You know, some of them had weapons, you know, and I used to be in the middle of it, like them trying to kill each other right in front of me. And it was just so traumatizing, you know. I've been through so many situations where people would, you know, just shoot at each other, and I would just be right there like, what is going on? I'm gonna die today. You know, I've been in cars while they're chasing another car, trying to shoot each other like crazy. Like, I'm telling you, there's so many things that I can testify about, but I would be here forever. Literally, this video would be like 25 hours long. But yeah, and I'm like, how didn't I die? Like, God, you literally saved me from death so many times, because I remember I was once in a car with this guy that was drunk, and we literally almost crashed against a tree. Like, it was so bad. My eyes flashed before my eyes. I thought I was gonna die. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was so many things. Like, it was just so crazy. And I remember I used to smoke sometimes, and I used to just faint. Like, it was really bad. Like, I think it was just because I was so skinny. Like, I was super skinny because I was always smoking. I barely ate. I was just smoking. And it was just not healthy. Like, it was not healthy. I was sick physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, it was bad. Well, anyways, Julissa kept asking me to come to church, and I used to be like, no, I'm working. But she was persistent. She didn't, like, God didn't allow her to give up on me. She kept asking me. And one Sunday, August 2nd, she invited me to church. And I was like, let me just go, because this shorty keeps annoying me. She keeps asking me to go to church. Let me just go so she can leave me alone. But God's plans were other. You know, God had other plans for me that I didn't even know. And I was like, whatever, let me just go to church, you know, go to church, get out, smoke, go to sleep. So I remember I was like, let me check my work schedule, see if I get out on time. So I got out early that day. I went, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to church. So I took a cab to my house. I got ready. You know, I put my makeup on. I put my jewelry on. Da-da-da. Okay, let's go to church. So she picks me up, and I go to church, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm in the chair in church like, all right, I want to go. I want to go home. Like, what am I doing here? I want to go home. And the pastor was preaching that day, and he kept preaching, and everything he was saying was like literally directly to my life. Like, it was hitting right in my heart, in my soul. Like, I'm like, what is it? Does this guy know me? Like, somebody told him who I am, what I'm going through, what I feel. You know, there was so many emotions that I couldn't express. Till this day, I can't even express how I felt. Like, it probably like, well, you didn't go through nothing. But like, there was so many things that I went through that I can't even put in words, because it's just, I can't even describe it type of thing. But I remember he was preaching, and I was like, wow, this fits me so well. Like, this is me right here. And I was like, I was kind of getting scared. I'm like, I need to get out of here, because I don't know what's about to happen, but I need to get out of here. I was just like, oh my God, hurry up, stop talking. Like, I want to go home. I was already thinking about this blunt I was going to smoke. I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home. You know, I got people waiting for me type of thing. So remember the pastor, he finished preaching and he was like, he pointed to me and he was like, you. And I was like, what, me? Like, who you talking to? And then he was like, oh, do you want to give yourself to God? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, nah, I'm all set. I'm not ready for this. And out of nowhere, I just felt like my body like, yeah. I'm like, what did I say? Yeah, literally, like my chest, I felt my chest rising, like, yeah. It was like my soul was speaking for me. It was so weird, guys. Like, it sounds like it's crazy, but it's real life. I literally felt like my chest rise up, like, yeah, I want to give myself to God. And in my head, I'm like, no, I don't. What am I doing? Like, I'm not ready for this. I got too much going on. Like, I can't. Like, I'm over here like trying to make it. Even though I was so depressed, my soul was screaming for help. And in my head, I'm like, I do not want to give myself to God. What did I just say? How did I say yes? And then he's like, oh, come to the front so I can pray for you. So next thing you know, I'm walking to the front to the altar and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not ready for this. This is a mistake. Literally in my head, while I'm walking to the front, I'm literally battling in my head like, this is so wrong. This is not for me. I don't even know how to do this. I haven't been to church in years. Like, I'm such a horrible person. I'm a sinner. Like, I fail God every day. How can God choose me? Like, I was just bugging in my head. I was bugging out, like, literally. But I was just walking normally to the front while I'm bugging in my head. And I remember the pastor was like, oh, pray, repeat after me. And I did, the prayer to give myself to God. And literally at that instant, like, I literally felt like weights lifted off my shoulder. I felt free. I felt like the chains were broken. I felt like something happened within me. I felt like this joy that I was craving for so long. I felt like this peace that I needed, the peace that didn't let me sleep, the peace that didn't let me live, the peace that I was searching for everywhere. I was searching for it in weed and liquor and parties and guys, everything you can think of. I was looking for that peace, that love that I wanted so bad in all the wrong places. And at that moment, I gave myself to God. I remember I started dancing in the spirit and I was just crying because I'm like, how do I feel this instant happiness? Like, all I had to do was come to God for me to feel this happiness that I wanted to feel for so many years. Like, how is that even possible? Like, how is this real? And I remember I felt so happy. I felt so free. Like, my face, people were telling me that my face transformed. Like, I didn't even look like myself. Like, it was such a crazy experience. Like, I was so happy. Like, I was like, I can't even believe I did this. Like, this is crazy. Like, I feel so good. I felt so free. I felt so happy. I felt literally joy at that exact instant that I repeated that sentence to give myself to God. It's like God was like, boom, everything that you wanted, happiness, peace, freedom, your stress lifted off your shoulders, those weights lifted off your shoulders right there. God gave it to me like right there. Like, he knew exactly what I wanted, what I needed, and he gave it to me at that moment that I was just like, God, you are real. You're real. Not because people told me, but because I felt it. Because I felt it. Like, at that day and till this day, like, it's been 3.5 years and it's just like, that doesn't go away. Like, literally, I could be going through so much and I'm like, that happiness is still there. That joy is still there. That peace is still there. Like, I be sleeping like a baby now. Like, before I needed weeks of sleep. Now I just need my bed and I close my eyes and I'm gone. Because that peace is so real. Like, it's so crazy. Like, after I gave myself to God, and I remember I was talking to this kid, and he was the first person I told. I called him because me and him used to talk about going to church and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I gave myself to God. He's like, wow, I'm so happy for you, this and that. And then I got to my mom's house, which was my house at the moment, and I was like, oh, mommy, and she's like, what? I was like, I gave myself to God, and she was like so happy. She started crying and she was like hugging me and she was like, oh my God, like, God answered my prayers. I'm like, Ma, you was praying for that? She was like, yeah, I used to pray every night, like, God, bring her back to how she used to be when she was young and when she used to serve you. Because I used to be out till 6 o'clock in the morning, not even tell my mom where I'm at. And she used to literally cry, leaving me voice messages, crying, like, come home, text me, call me, let me know you're okay. she would not sleep until I stepped into the house, and I would just come to the house mad drunk, mad high, and be like, you're bugging, go to sleep, ma. Mad. I was so mean to her. Like, I'm like, you were the only person who actually believed in me, and I was so mean to you. But that's a different story. And she was so happy, and I was like, wow, this woman does not serve God, but she had the faith that literally moved mountains. Like, this woman used to pray, used to tell God every day, save my daughter, until God actually did it. I'm like, yo, God literally hears your prayers. Like, you told God, I want to serve you, yo, he will make a way for you, literally. Like, it's not like people be like, how did you come to God? How did that come upon? I'm like, yo, God knew I was tired. God knew I needed that breakthrough. God knew that I needed him, because without him, I'm nothing. I would never go back. Like, God, protect my soul and allow me to serve you until you come, but I will never go back, because it's like, what I feel now is crazy joy. Like, I've accomplished so many things in life that I would have never accomplished with the mindset, with the life I was living before. Like, you know, I just his love. Like, he's my father. You know, my father was never really there. Like I explained, you know, my stepdad got taken away since when I was young. So I didn't really have nobody to teach me, and God's been teaching me, like, love yourself, girl. You know, like, you don't have to show off your body to have a guy like you. You don't have to wear all this makeup for a guy to like you. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself naturally. Like, protect your body, you know. Like, that's not something that you can just give to anybody. That's not something that you can just show off to anybody, you know. Like, and it's stuff that literally he has been teaching me, like, how to truly love myself. Like, my face like this, flaws and all my bushy eyebrows, my skin, all these scars, which I need to just stop picking my pimples. But anyways, you know, like, I gained some weight because, you know, I'm telling you, when you're in a healthy relationship, you gain weight. But the healthy relationship with God. But, you know, and I'm just so happy. And I'm like, this is not like before, where I used to have to pretend to be happy. This is legit. This is real. Like, I just want to cry, because I'm like, God, like, you really love me. Like, you are my father. You show me your love. You show me your mercy. Even so many times I feel him every day, and he still loves me. He still talks to me. He still, like, makes me feel loved. Like, nobody has ever made me feel loved the way that God makes me feel loved. Like, that's my father. Like, he literally loves me. Like, he chose me. Like, he died for me. Like, Jesus literally died for me. He died for you. Like, who else is gonna do that? Nobody. Not maybe your mother, but nobody else. You know, and it's just like, that love is so unconditional. Like, he loves me with my imperfections, with me being hard-headed, with me being, you know, sometimes I'm so hard on myself, you know, and he still loves me like that. Like, I'm gonna show you who you are. I'm gonna prove to you that I see you this way, you know, that I don't see you how you see yourself, or how the man sees you. I see you so much more than that. And yeah, so I've been serving God for 3.5 years now, and it's been literally the glory of him, like, his glory, like, excuse me, but it's been so real. Like, and I literally pray for my friends, you know, but I don't, obviously I'm not as close to many of you guys anymore, but I pray for you guys. You know, I want everyone to have that same encounter that I had with God. Like, it's something that I can't even explain. Like, it's unexplainable. Like, it's so big. Like, it overpowers me. It like, his love is so real. Like, I can't even explain it, dude. I can't even explain it, because it's just something that you can't explain. It's something so perfect. Like, somebody so perfect loving me that I'm so imperfect. Like, how? But that's my God, you know. Through hard times, through the hardest times of my life, he's the only one that was there for me. Literally the only one. And yeah, you know, God can change your life. I used to be known as Johanny, the one that turns up all the time. Like, guys didn't even want to date me because I was such a turn-up queen that I was always drinking, smoking, partying. Like, guys did not take me serious. Like, I never had a real relationship. I never had somebody really love me the way that I was supposed to be loved. Like, I never had any of that. I never really had, you know what I'm saying, somebody want to take me serious because of the life that I was living. Like, I don't blame them. You know, the life I was living wasn't, like, good. You know, it was I was bugging, I was going crazy, I was just doing things that, you know what I'm saying, that happen, you know, things happen. But, you know, it's just like, thank you, God, because you've allowed me to be different now. You've changed me. You've changed me. I'm not the same person I was before. I'm not the person that you once saw at a party. I'm not that person anymore, you know. Like, I'm Johanny, but I'm a better, improved Johanny, you know, cleaned with the blood of Jesus. Amen. But yeah, that's just a little bit of my testimony. I didn't want to get too into it because I don't want this video to be too long. But just know that Jesus changed. Like, he came for sinners. Oh, I can't serve God because I'm just a sinner. Yo, we all sinners. This flesh, everyone who's made of flesh is a sinner. This flesh is sin. You know, like, but it says in the Bible, like, God came to die for us sinners. Yeah, that means you, that means me, that means all of you. No matter how bad you're doing, no matter if it don't matter. It'd be like God died for somebody who killed somebody. God died for them too. You know, so many people that like drug addicts, God died for them too. Like, don't judge because it's like, you don't know why they're in that position. Like, people used to judge me all the time, but they didn't know how hurt, how broken I was in order to get to that point. Like, I didn't even notice I was letting myself go to that extreme. You know, I didn't understand, and I didn't expect people to understand either, because life just does things to you. That's why I try not to judge people, because I'm like, I don't know what they've been through. Like, I don't know why they are the way that they are. Something must have happened to them, because people don't just grow up to be, you know what I'm saying, these bad people, or not bad people, but like do bad things. Like, you don't just grow up to be like that. You know, things happen in our childhood, things happen in our life that scar us, that mark us, you know. But Jesus came, Jesus died for us to just clear that off, you know, to be brand new. You know, Jesus died for us to be new and improved, new, better, improved. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to say it. But anyways, Jesus died for us. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share it to your friends, you know, share it to somebody who you think might need to hear this. You know, comment, you know, whatever questions you have, you know. Like, I'm like, God, you changed me. Like, I want to make a difference in this world. I don't want to just live this life just to live it. Like, I want to make a difference in this world. Like, I want to, you know, I want people to see that you are real. I want people to see you within me. Like, you know, and that's what I want to live my life for him, and for him only. And just like, you know, comment, share this video. I hope you guys like it. You guys have to know that you are not the worst person in this world. God did die for you. Jesus did die for you. I mean, you know, like, God chose you. No matter what condition you're in, no matter how bad you think you are, Jesus died for you. And he knew you were going to be in that condition, but still, he still died for you, because he wants you to be saved. He wants you to be loved. He wants you to know that you are worth it. Girl, boy, you are worth it. Like, don't let the enemy lie to you. Like, God is the key to everything. Literally, like, he restored my entire life. He restored my heart that was so broken into so many pieces, you know. But God is good, and you know, I love you guys, and thank you so much for the support. I truly appreciate it. This is all for the glory of God, and only for the glory of God, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be here. I don't even know what would have been of me, honestly. Like, I probably would have been doing things that I would have never thought I would be doing, you know. But God's plan was different. You know, he destined each and every one of us before we were even born. But yeah, God bless you guys. I love you guys so much, and thank you for listening. Thank you for taking your time out to listen to what God, you know, did in me. I love you guys. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you. We love you.
We love you guys.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to a video.